Well, I am back doing what I love the most, and that is, of course, my favorite time of the month, and that is, of course, reviewing the public speakers at the Long Island Railroad and New York City Transit Committee meetings. And this month, of course, we had the unfortunate experience of Metro North Long Island Railroad, but the fool known as Murray Bowden decided to put his 2 cents in again today. So, thanks to the MTA's website, I was able to find updated information for today's materials. Recording right now at 3:02, so I really want to try to get this video up by 6 or 7 o'clock tonight, if anything. So let's see. So here is Mr. Murray Bowden. Now, the fool known as Murray, and let's put this in 1080 because we're recording in 1080. Makes sense not to record in 1080. So let's listen now to Murray's comments first from the Metro North Long Island Railroad Committee, and then I will react, and then I will, of course, move on to Jason Anthony Pinero's comments. Ooh, I wanted to mute my mic.
Not 5. The next speaker is Murray Bowden.
My first presentation is on the president of Metro North's report, which I don't have, so I can't address what you're actually going to speak about, but I raised 2 questions that I expect to be answered. One was why you blow the train horn at 125th Street, because that is a rule started by New York Central Railroad, has been out of business for a number of years. The second is about the red box at the crossing at Roaring Brook. Metro North put it in there because they like a red box. Similarly, in Tarrytown, they put up a transmission tower without consulting anybody because they felt, well, we have a right to do it because we like it. The transmission tower came down, and it's now installed at the Tappan Zee Bridge at the police headquarters. So the days when Metro North can go and do whatever they want are over. And I expect your report to tell us why you're still using a red box there, because I passed it yesterday and a red box is there. The manual and uniform traffic control devices means uniform. It means Metro North can't make up their own rules because we like them better. So I hope you've addressed that in your report. You want to reset the time, please, because now my report is to the president of Long Island Railroad. There are 2 committees here today. I have a right to speak to each committee. I also haven't seen the residents Metro Long Island Railroad's report either. I had some questions on what action the president or the chairman of Metro North Long Island Railroad Committee will do about the duplicate lights at railroad crossings, the flashing red lights and the traffic lights. Why do we have flashing red lights? Because they were there before traffic lights. We can't stop them. My 16-year-old, reset the clock, please. When you follow the rules, I'll follow the rules.
The rules
you
are...
have done. When you follow the rules, I'll follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, I don't
limit,
follow.
sir. It is a joint committee meeting, not 2 separate meetings.
It is the responsibility.
Wrap it up, please.
Yeah. I present the information to you. You can legally and immediately stop using the flashing red lights. I've explained it. It's in the files. It's your responsibility. I can only present the information. It's your responsibility to act on it.
Well, it got worse at New York City Transit, and I'll show you that later on. But I mentioned something here about Mr. Murray Bowden, right? It's one thing that he has to bring up Metro North, right? And of course, call out Catherine Rinaldi, the president. Then he has to call out Philip Bing, the president of the Long Island Railroad, right? Well, one thing I will agree with Murray on, and I've been saying this for a while, is again, stop it with these joint committee meetings. There's no need for them anymore. Should be every month, Metro North, Long Island Railroad. That's one thing. But, you know, this is just a typical character. So we're actually going to go to somebody who actually has made up to the public in recent time, and that is, of course, Jason Anthony Pinero. Now today, Jason actually went back to the familiar stylings that we all know and love. So let's watch Jason, and then I will react.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jason Pinero, followed by H.P. Schroer.
Good morning. Jason Anthony Pinero here on behalf of Passengers United. It's an organization that represents commuters from Long Island, Westchester, and New York City. I'm here to express my concerns when there's track work in the Long Island Railroad territory between Woodside and Jamaica. Why do we have to have bridge plates at Woodside, Forest Hills, and Kew Gardens instead of running express service from Penn to Jamaica and having New York City Transit Line 7, E, and F trains cross honor service between these stations? Because this creates a safety hazard, especially when there's sporting events like when the Mets play at Citi Field and the upcoming U.S. Open tennis tournament in the month of August. And Philip, I know that we have talked about this before, but I want you to give a follow-up regarding every conductor checking every single ticket of every passenger when they board a train. Because 2 Sundays ago, I took a Long Island Railroad train from Northern Avenue to Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. That's my home station. I activated my e-Tix ticket app before boarding the train, but the conductor never checked my ticket. So if you please could reinforce the rules, because this could prevent, let's say, potential fare evasion. So that's all I have to say for this month.
All right, so you just heard Jason's comments, and I do agree with him on the cross-honoring when it comes to, you know, when the railroad tells us about temporary platforms, and that's what he was trying to refer to. Maybe he can clarify on that in the comments, or Jason, you're always welcome to PM me and we'll talk man-to-man about it, because I always love our conversations. But the upsetting thing that me and him talked about, and you heard that, was this was a couple days ago, and it's upsetting to me that Jason had told me this, and he told the committee this today, was that recently Jason was coming from Nostrand Avenue to Atlantic Terminal, right, which is Jason's home station on the railroad network, like how me and Andy Quinto station is Jamaica, of course. And again, I have gone on the record. I have again said this once. I've only fare evaded once on the railroad, and that was last year with Pine Power LI. Only time I've done it. And that wasn't my fault. That was the conductor's fault. And that's what Jason was trying to bring up, was that I would have paid my $150 to Belmore. I had the money on hand. This was last year. And you know, am I thankful for that? No, because I'm kind of annoyed that, you know, I robbed the railroad in a way. That wasn't fair to them. I would have paid. I would have. And thankfully, when I went back to Jamaica, the conductor came at Belmore and told me, well, you know, you can now pay. You know, give me the $4.75, which was the fare at the time before. The $5 now was between Solon Fare 3 and Solon Fare 7 now. And what's shocking was Jason used e-Tix, and again, I'm just annoyed that these conductors, they don't even look at the tickets sometimes, and that's on the main line. But I always have a rule with everybody, and that is, again, if you don't have your ticket punched, please keep your ticket. Please don't toss it out in the trash if you have a ticket that's, lasts more than 90 days. If it's a land ticket, I would suggest that if you can, complain to the railroad about it, like Jason did, because honestly, that's not fair. I mean, if I was going westbound to a lag terminal from, there, and I had my lag ticket didn't get punched, then I would have went and said to the ticket booth, somebody has to go punch my ticket. It's only a one-day ticket. It's not fair. And thankfully, again, every time I've left from Atlantic, and every time I've left from Penn, and I'll bring this up, is that I've always gotten a conductor. And lately when I go at Penn, and I've noticed this, especially last week when I took the 211 to Long Beach, which is my normal express train to Jamaica, is that, they come. They come right by Hayward Interlocking. And I sometimes recognize the conductors. They're pretty nice guys, And ironically, when I go to Long Beach tomorrow, for the Long Beach Summit, it's crazy how I'm leaving at 2:11, the same time that the eastbound train from Penn heads to Long Beach. Except that I'm going to be in Jamaica about 10 minutes later because I, of course, have to make local trips. So, I'll quickly mention that the railroad had a good month in terms of show you some of these because I think this is important. I have to show you this today. I'm trying to show the presentation. I do apologize. All right, let's start off from here. I'm not going to put it in full. Let's put it in full screen. That way I can just illustrate the presentation from President Ng's report, and I'm very happy that Philip Ng got to speak first today. Catherine Rinaldi had a long presentation, which doesn't surprise me, but I'll summarize it very quickly. Ooh, okay, that's not what we want. So, 90,000 people went to and from Farmingdale during the U.S. Open last week. According to the MTA police, there was no reported incidents during travel, so that's pretty good on that note. Anyhow, let's continue on. Increased ridership in the last year went by 3.9%. That is, of course, thanks to me taking it last year, starting in January, and I've continued to take the Long Island Railroad since then because, again, interborough express buses are just not reliable anymore. I'll quickly mention earlier I was on 73rd Avenue, and there's only one person on the QM5, so thanks to me, people have been ending up taking the Long Island Railroad lately just to get to Jamaica and then take a local bus, which, again, the stability fare matters, and especially, again, how they've taken away our, another thing is, now if you pay the fare on the Interborough Express bus, they don't give you the transfer for the subway anymore. That 190-something transfer, I think it is, or whatever it costs, they got rid of the transfer thanks to the fare hike. Okay, anyhow, 290,000 more people took the Long Island Railroad. Of course, the railroad had increased ridership, the on-time percentage, and the amount of work at the same time. So that's pretty good on that note. All thanks to, of course, the recent leadership of Philip Ng and his team. Maybe, to be fair, a little bit. I don't know if it's at least Sapika, but again, we're not going to bring her up. Anyhow, the good news is since 2012, again, I have to stop saying 2000 because that's getting annoying. Since 2012, 95.3% is the best on-time percentage. And you look at that statistic, that number was during the Helena Williams administration. So, I guess Philip Ng is taking her model, 10 branches have exceeded on-time performance, 45% reduction in short trains. I don't know if that is the case. There are still issues in the Babylon branch on weekends where, again, I've urged people to take the railroad on weekends on the South Shore because, again, the Southern State Parkway, we know how bad it can get. And, of course, the lowest number of cancellations since 2014. I will refer to you to look at the committee book for that information, for Metro North Long Island Railroad Joint Committee book, because it's more specific on that category. Anyhow, get to this slide. And a very good presentation by the railroad today. I got to give them credit. This is what I call a professional PowerPoint. I got to give them credit. Anyhow, they are building on a program called Long Island Railroad Care. There's a video. If it's available from the MTA, I will card it later on tonight if that video is available to the public. Let's continue on with another PowerPoint presentation, and this is very important about the M9s. 16 cars are on property. So they are still manufacturing more of the M9s. They are actually manufacturing them at Yonkers. So it's a shared process between Metro North and the Long Island Railroad. Operational testing continues to ensure safety and reliability. Possibly again next week or the week after, probably the first full week in June, we might be seeing the M9s. I'm assuming, because again, with preferential treatment towards this railroad, it's a possibility I might be seeing them along the Babylon branch shortly. So again, I don't really want to get more into this. Right, you also have congestion pricing. Federal funding accounts for 40% of capital program. Again, that's up to the Trump administration. They're still withholding funds. We're not going to get into politics. Track work, signal upgrades, yard enhancements, platform improvements, and of course, Superstorm Sandy recovery projects that still have yet to be accomplished since 2012. So, I can't really read that part. There is a new vendor at Lawrence, which I don't know what that is about. Then Catherine Rinaldi talked about they're now putting the My Metro North website available. So My Metro North is actually being launched soon. So that's pretty good. That is excellent. I'm glad Metro North is finally caught up with the times, I guess, in terms of the railroad. So that is pretty good. Anything else? Yeah, they talked about the crime. They mentioned at Babylon that oh well, we're trying to get more police, blah blah blah. Again, more usual stuff. So now we'll move on to NYCT for their public speakers. So first up, who we're gonna play first? Because I have to look into it. Let's see if I can get to that. Also, very quickly, I want to mention that because of the audit meeting today, Metro North and Long Island Railroad ran about 15 to 20 minutes late today. So of course I was watching at Long Island Jewish today. I don't know what it is with my Amazon tablet, but my tablet at Long Island Jewish's library, where now I work, I was moved there. I'm not going to say why I was moved there, but thank God, because the Wi-Fi is excellent down there compared to where I was in the volunteer office. But the Wi-Fi is spectacular down there. I mean, I was able to get my YouTube channel work done, and we'll play Jason, because there was some important parts that Jason had to say today. So we'll play it from here.
Our next speaker is Jason Pinheiro, followed by Lisa Daglian.
Good morning. First of all, I want to thank Sarah and Polly for their opening remarks. And the most of all, wishing Dr. Eric a happy retirement. You will be heavily missed, even by my own self. So, a couple of things that I want to bring is, one, improve in-train communication when there's unplanned service changes. Two, status of track sweep. Two, mention data from page 126. I want in the future to include how many buses we have in-house and which models are they. Regarding the Kawasaki procurement, I don't know if Steve Pachaki will have the answer to this. Is this procurement will include the R142As that were converted into R188s? And of course, there has been an increase in insults of subway conductors. And I know that this has to stop. because we have to support our brothers and sisters from the unions that move all of us, including my own self, every single day in the transit system. So I want to thank John Samuelson for your hard work. And you know that your speech last Monday has been trending in my own YouTube channel, and a lot of people support you, including my own self. So with that in mind, that's all for this month.
All right, so another good public speaking session by Jason. He was referencing the committee book, which again, we really won't get into that much. Very quickly, I want to mention that Sarah did mention, I think I'll play it back. Can we play it back? So I want to find the announcement from Sarah. She did mention that Daryl Eyrich, the president of New York City Bus, is retiring. I am very sad to, of course, hear this news because, again, one of his final acts as president was, again, thanks to me, and it took 2 months, but Daryl finally got it done from my request back in March about the Q17, Q30, and Q31 being detoured off of Archer Avenue until further notice, thanks to the construction project up on 168th Street. And I think in a way Polly Trottenberg had to cave in to my demand because, again, she knew I was probably complaining about it, and she was like, with him, you know what? We have to get the bus moving. And again, I've mentioned 2 weeks in a row, even though, again, I had an issue on the 31, which I'm not really going to talk about because it was, disgusting to even mention to you all, but Andy knows what it's about. Andy Kent, though. But overall, in the past 2 weeks since the Q30, Q31 has been detoured onto Jamaica Avenue, I will admit we're finally moving again. There is stop and go, but certainly a whole lot better than waiting for that dumb traffic line on 168th Street. Across the street from Home Depot, where they're supposedly building a housing project, which, again, I really don't want to get into, but Daryl's going to be missed. I will miss him, and I'm hoping that whoever comes in will have the experience like Daryl. Daryl, of course, was with MTA for about, I think it was, 33 years? And with Daryl, and I'll mention this, is that he actually started as a bus operator. So he was a bus driver. And then he worked his way up to the to of course, executive. And again, thanks to Daryl's leadership, we got the Nova Bus RTS, we got the Orion 7s, we got the Nova Bus LFS, we now even have the Excelsiors coming in, and of course we have the new Nova Bus miles coming. So thanks to Derek, we've got some good buses over the years thanks to him. So again, Daryl Eyrich, you will be missed by me, you will be missed by Jason, and I'm hoping that MTA will make the right move. Please do not hire somebody from TransDev. We don't want anybody from Nice Bus coming in. We don't want anybody from Beeline coming in. We need somebody with MTA experience that knows what they're going to be doing. The right person has to take this job very seriously.
Reliability. Second, the importance of continued improvements in bus service.
All right, this is Sarah Feinberg's
I know your remarks this morning will focus on where we
comments.
find ourselves 1 year into our bus action plan. We look forward to hearing that. One of the things I think that's
Sorry about that. I'm just going to fast forward Sarah's comments.
Cameras that will capture photos of bus lane violators and assist us in the ticketing process. So just so this committee knows, I've suggested we move as quickly as we possibly can on that front. There'll be an opportunity later this morning in this committee meeting to have a conversation, Q&A about that. But specifically, we can talk more at that time. But I think that will be a priority moving forward as well. So subway performance and bus performance. Obviously,
I will mention that President Byford did bring up the retirement, not Sarah, along with Jason Anthony Pinero. I do apologize if I'm fast forwarding. I really do need to find it. So I'm going to try to keep this video at least under 45 minutes, if anything.
As well as a strategy to improve safety in the system overall. And then finally, I want this committee to know that I'm well aware, and the public to know that I'm well aware, we owe the community an update on e-hail. We're continuing to have those conversations internally. I know there'll be an opportunity for some Q&A here.
And of course, e-hail actually slowed down the meeting. We're not even going to play that part. That was just disgusting what happened today.
Give my vice chair colleague Trottenberg an opportunity, Commissioner Trottenberg an opportunity to speak as well, and then we'll jump in. Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah, so Commissioner Trottenberg did speak in the open today, which I wasn't too happy about.
There's a lot of hard work that's gone into that from the leadership and all the rank and file members, and glad we're really seeing some improvements there. And since I hope we'll be doing we're going to be doing tributes later to Daryl Irick, or should I do my tribute now? Are the tributes scheduled?
There will be tributes. I don't know if they're actually scheduled, but I would.
Okay.
Interesting. I think that's news to Daryl.
I don't think so.
We just asked him this, and he was like, "No, this is my last
All
one."
right,
So.
well, I'll offer a quick tribute now, and if there are future tributes,
And
I'll
then we'll
follow.
sprinkle them throughout the meeting. Okay.
It has been such an immense pleasure to get to work with Daryl over
Here
these
we go.
5+ years, and to see what a consummate professional he is, how much he cares about this institution, about bus service in New York City, about the men and women who work for him. He's left a huge mark, and I will miss him tremendously. I'm sure there will be more to say, but obviously we will wish him the best in his retirement. And just sort of speaking on the bus service issue, and I know we're going to talk about it a bit today, and I know there's some things, sort of information.
So again, Commissioner Trottenberg did acknowledge that the retirement of Daryl Irick. So again, I said I'm very upset about the news, and again, I really like Daryl Irick. I really did, and I'm very upset about this news, and just like how I was upset that Charles Mulder left the board, and again, the most important board member right now in my book is Veronica Vanderpool, just because again, she's very important to finance. She's very smart in that field, so you don't have her in that field. And again, her attitude's one thing, but she's very important to the board and the committees.
Please fix this problem.
She's there every time. So
Thank you.
now
Our
we'll go to
next
the
speaker
fool's
is Maury
comments.
Bowden, followed by Ruth Lowenkron.
So let's watch the fool again and see what he had to say.
Bad news brings in ad revenue. Good news doesn't. Those people with the television cameras up there are generating money for their station, but not giving credit to Andy and his team. What you people are talking about today is that gentleman sitting at the end there. His name is Alex. This is the first time in the history of the MTA, and I've been coming here 20-odd years, that they've had an advocate for you. He's helping you. Give him a chance. This is moving forward. There are so many. No, you be quiet because I have it now. You're doing a great job, and they don't know it. And it has to be those people with the television cameras have to make it well known that this place is moving forward very rapidly. These problems are here for too long. I've been here for too long. But they're going forward, and they're being solved in a rapid pace. So you want them to respect you, and you won't respect me. No, I deserve as much respect as they do. And if you don't give me respect, then you have to learn to be in place. You get 2 minutes, I get 2 minutes. Respect that you...
We gotta learn our place. He don't need to finish.
And here you have an example of how misinformation is transmitted.
It's not transmitted. That's what we live every day.
Darrell, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you. The rest of this team has done a spectacular job. That message has to get out. I spent many years, I understand, I spent many years discussing what was wrong. My responsibility is also to make you aware of what's right.
Please summarize your remarks, please.
Thank you for the job you're doing.
So again, Murray was talking about the e-hail program, which again I really don't want to get into because I'm annoyed that it slowed down the complexity of this meeting. I will mention, I'm not going to play the presentation, but you can watch it for yourself later on if you're curious. President Byford did go in depth about the first month of the L train project with, again, the situation on the weekends where it runs every 20 minutes. The public has responded very good to the project so far, so that's good. I will criticize the people not taking the B91, B92. I guess they don't want to take it, but there has been an increase in M14 ridership, as expected, of course. But, yeah, you know, Murray and I can see eye to eye on NYCT, but when it comes to the Long Island Railroad, that's a different story. And, you know, I'm just... In a way, I have to thank Murray for finally forcing him to get Elisa Pica to retire. I don't even know who's going to... You know, it's crazy. We still do not have an executive vice president since Elisa Pica has left. So, they say, oh, she's on paid leave. But eventually, we need an executive vice president. We need an executive vice president. That's the bottom line. So, get into that very quickly. Let's just fast forward. I'm not even going to play anymore that much. Let's see. A lot of them are about e-hail. That doesn't surprise me. Once again, another good report from President Byford. Always like to hear his comments, of course. Andy, of course, has been doing a good job in the year and a half that he's been with NYCT. Quickly mention that I'll bring up my report. Is that, again, subways are improving. Once again, I'm going to say this again. This is the 5th straight month in a row, and I'll mention this, that I have not had a problem with the Queens Boulevard line. I will mention that next month, thankfully, to my agenda, I do not have to take the Queens Boulevard line, and I will, of course, clarify with you all that on Monday, June 3rd. Bring up that point. Again, I'm not really going to play his comments, but everybody was, of course, thanking him for his service today. And, of course, they have to show de Blasio. Oh, my God. I want to throw up right now. I literally want to throw up. So they are talking about brand new select bus service. Very quickly, did they mention anything about the Q46 becoming SBS? Okay, nothing at the moment. Very good news that there are more buses being sent out. The good news is now they're claiming that possibly by 2022 or even as early as 2021, it is a possibility that the Orion 7s will be off the road, hopefully. I'm hoping by then, because again, you cannot have these gas-guzzling vehicles on the road. Again, they emit diesel fuel, and honestly, it's not good for the environment. They still need that fuel, of course, because again, those buses have been out since 2004, 2003, early as that. So again, bridges and tunnels. I'm not really going to get into it, but I wanted to know if they had any information on the Triborough Bridge pattern, because they switched the traffic pattern on it. So now we'll go to finance, because Jason did speak in that meeting. So let's get to that, and I think we'll wrap up this video, because again, there really isn't nothing much to say. I don't even think we're on CPAC right now. I think CPAC probably started late, for all we know. For all we know, CPAC probably started late. Yep. I think finance is still speaking. Wow. It's almost 4 o'clock and finance is still speaking. I want to know if Jason was going to be at finance. Uh-oh. Looks like Murray was also at finance committee meeting. This isn't good. Let's watch. Let's watch. I have to see Murray one more time just for my amusement.
I'm going to ask the speakers if they can stay within the 2 minutes, please. I appreciate it.
And of course, headed by Larry Shorts.
That, by the way.
I know you are.
Speaking of finance, a couple of things. One, why don't we do like when I was in Puerto Rico studying in college, that I had a student pass and paid half price for every single bus and train ride. But here's the requirement. I had to report my schedule, go to a customer service center, and get that card and renew it every year. That is something that you guys could consider doing it over here. And regarding Atlanta ticket, that I know that is going for renewal next month, you guys should consider lowering the price from $60, that's actually to $45, because it's more affordable, and we could get more passengers using the Atlantic branch. And lowering the one-way trip from $5 to $3.75. That's more affordable even yet, because CTA is doing a similar movement between Metro and CTA, that they're lowering their fares within the city limits to $2.75. So I think, Larry, you should consider all of these options. I know that you're a brilliant guy, and I know that you could do it. So that's all I have to say.
Excellent by Jason to finally promote the agenda by the Passengers United Advocacy Group. Pretty much I will mention that the head of the group, I'm not going to say his name because, again, wouldn't be fair to this person who is leading the group, but they are an advocacy group, and Jason and I, actually yours truly, is starting to become a part of it too, that we're trying to ask the Long Island Railroad, and this is a good point, to lower the Atlantic ticket to $3.75. I think it would be a fair price, so then I could travel from Atlantic Terminal more often if I could to head back to Jamaica. But, or Queensville, it's just saying. But I will say this about Jason's student thing. That needs to be discussed long run. There could be economics towards it. But again, Larry Schwartz is the head of that committee, so the appropriate person to address that was him. So, lastly, we'll just finish up with that fool, because I'm getting sick and tired of him already.
There's Murray Bowden, who'll be followed by Brian Burke.
Let's watch Murray.
My brother doesn't even think I'm brilliant.
At the last meeting, I put my Easy Pass transponder into the envelope. I will never take it out again. It will be in my glove compartment in case any police officer wants to know if I have an Easy Pass account. It's unnecessary. I provide you with this information because it is your responsibility to see that those gantries are removed and Easy Pass readers are removed so that traffic can flow better. I can only provide this information to you. It is your responsibility to act on it. Over the years, it's been a pleasure to come here and have the opportunity to provide information for you. Could not have done this without a lot of people providing information as well. Thank you for the opportunity to have been here.
Thank you. Our third and final speaker is Brian Burke.
I'm sorry, I had to fast forward Murray, because guess what he was talking about? The Easy Pass. He kept talking about it all day today. Who cares? Who cares? Enough with that already. He keeps talking about Easy Pass. You heard him in NYCT talking about that. Disgusting. It really is. I know Murray says, oh, let's have Easy Pass with the license plate. I agree with that, but you don't have to bring it up in every freaking committee meeting. You don't. And I'm going to be honest, today, this would have been like the only time I would have went to a finance meeting. You know why? And I mentioned this to you all, I think, last month. I would have actually used my time to thank my Assemblywoman, Nilly Rosick, for convincing the MTA not to slash runs on the Q46 and the Q44. She actually put the funding in so that way those off-peak runs that I use are still available from the hospital, Long Island Jewish Hospital. So, that would have been my time to thank Larry for listening to my Assemblywoman's concerns and my concerns, because of course Ninley actually rides the Q46. I've heard back from her office that she actually rides the bus to Kew Gardens and then takes the train. So that's credit somewhere. And in another video we're going to have to talk about the Queen's DA race, because there's some news that I'm going to have to bring up. I might even do it on Saturday, because we'll probably have that for this week's Saturday discussion. But yeah, just saying, that's what I would have spent my time on if I actually went to a finance meeting. See, that's what I would have done at finance today. If I had done that at finance, then the board would have appreciated me for, again, thanking my Assemblywoman for getting it done. So, I don't want to ramble on. I've been on for about 40 minutes almost. Yeah, 40 minutes. I think that's enough. I'm done speaking. So that's just my reaction to the May 2019 committee meeting. Thank goodness I got home early to record this, because I would never be able to upload this. So, that, gonna wrap it all up. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to Matt Camper. He'll have coverage later. Jason will recap his side later on. Very quickly, I'll also mention in the service changes, and I'll mention this. Omni was mentioned. Omni was mentioned by Andy Byford today. I'll get more into that on Friday with the service changes video, because that's very important that we discuss that. So, with that, thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.